Hello, everybody. Welcome to Learning Forward. On my weekly show today, this Saturday, I take you to a small village in Rajasthan called Bali, where I meet a contemporary CEO, a young man who's decided to stay rooted to his culture, rooted to his land, and actually is an ideal role model for a modern economy young grad. I have with me the CEO of Gurdwar Farmers Collective, a social enterprise that works with small and marginal farmers and connects them with premium urban markets. It's a project supported by Fab India and Organic India. This young man, who has worked with Bennett and Coleman, the Times of India group, he has worked with the managing director at Fab India. He is actually quite a passionate follower of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And more than anything else, he loves talking about discussion about governance, democracy, economic and social issues. And yes, he's very much an alumnus of the Fab India school, the Changemaker school, the school that has helped many find their passion with education. Welcome to the show, Yogendra. It's an honor and privilege to have you here and share what Fab India means to you. Where do you think, Yogendra, your passion for education has got you?
Thank you, sir. Uh, First of all, thank you for inviting me to your show. And uh, I would take a clue from your own introduction, and you said, I where I'm currently sitting is a small town called Bali. Now, 15 years ago, when my parents had to take a decision to educate us, first of all, the decision itself was kind of a revolution because, I was a first generation learner to a proper school. And that's, I think that, and going back 15 years ago, I realized that small vision that my parents had made such a huge impact in my own life and life of my own family. So the reason why I'm passionate about education, which is the topic for this conversation, is because what it has done to me, it has actually introduced me to the possibilities of human life. When I was young, I lived in a village where internet wasn't there. It came when I was almost 15 years old, that we could go for a dial-up connection. In that scenario, we got to know that human life is not about earning a living only or migrating to a bigger city, which many people in my generation and continue to do so from where I come from. So it told me that human life is much more than that, and I think that was a fundamental change in the way I thought. And I just realized that I am the first person in 16 generation who's moved out of Bali. And so when I just think about it, I realize this is this is what education can do to a young man or a woman, that it just changes the trajectory of his or her life. So for 500 years, our family has been living in this 20 square kilometers, and they've been very happy. They've had their ups and downs, but I was the first person who was able to go out, travel the world, meet new people. And also, I was just 10 15 days ago when I was sitting with my family, and I realized that I am the only one who has friends outside the community. And even I would say 90 80 90% of my family's social connections are within the community, and they're the same sort of caste or similar social background. So I realized that this is what education can do to you. Not only, for example, it gave me all the skills and the degree and all of those things, but more than that, it exposed me to the immense possibilities of human life. And that's why I'm really passionate about education.
Thank you, Yogendra. Yogendra, now that you're back to your 20 square kilometers,
Yeah.
this is a full circle.
Yes,
Here's
sir.
one man, here's one man who grew up, who actually left his hometown in search of the rainbow or the pot of gold at the rainbow, and he found the pot of gold in his backyard.
Yeah.
Why? Because he was so rooted to his culture. You talked three things. One, you talked about roots. Second, You talked about social background. And third, you mentioned very much about the exposure and connections you made thanks to education. Now, how much do you think your degree in school or degree in college or your graduation from various institutions go into your making?
Please stay with us. We will be back after a quick commercial break.
So I think they are definitely, and they definitely make a huge difference. But I would say more than the degree, the certificate that I got from various institutions. It's the visions that each of those institutions represented, and I was really fortunate to be able to attend such institutions which had a much larger vision of education, like the Fab India School. I mean, when I was I happen to read a lot about Indian philosophy also, and we realize that one of the things we've done to our education system is to limit it to the class and only to the academics. But Fab India School was different. It taught me that there is the entire world is your educator, right? The nature is your educator, society, and all of those things. So it actually, I was very fortunate to be educated in a line of thinking which went beyond the classroom, which went beyond the book and the curriculum, and therefore I think that played a huge role in my understanding of the world and my making sense of my own life. I mean, this decision to come back to my roots and work with my own people also comes from that that sense of pride and the sense of belonging that the Fab India School helped me inculcate, rather than rather than making an aspiration of moving out and only succeeding materially, which most of our education institutions do. I think I was fortunate there. And when I went to St. Stephen's College also, there the whole idea of service, which is very, very intrinsic to St. Stephen's, and the idea of the leading and providing leadership to your communities, I think all of that put together, along with the terrific individuals I met as mentors in my early years of my career, all that put together, I would say, is the reason why I'm back here, and I'm very comfortable, very passionate about this decision. I don't regret anything coming back, and in fact, I feel much more empowered by my own education to work with the farmers and my own community and all of that. So I think one of the things that is very special about the Fab India School and also the other institutions I went to, but particularly about the Fab India School, is because those are the formative years, is to give the child the liberty and the freedom to be able to explore himself or herself. I mean, this is not only me, everyone here who went to the Fab India School with me, they all discovered themselves in very different ways and are doing very well in whatever they chose to do. Even I met a senior of mine who is now a housewife and a mother. She's a terrific mother. She doesn't have a sort of the normal career, but her in-laws and everyone was so appreciative. I went to meet her family also, of what an amazing mother and a daughter-in-law and just a parent she's become. So I think that was very, very fortunate for us to be able to go to a school which gave you all the liberty to choose what you want to do with your life, not only career but your life as a whole. Yeah.
Thank you, Yogendra. It's so wonderful where you actually came back and said formative years matter. The liberty, the freedom, the life skills the school gives actually rekindle, or I should say enlighten you as an educator and makes you a lifelong learner. Thank you
Yes.
for being a lifelong learner, and we much appreciate the time you gave us today and actually shared how life can actually turn around the basic decision of going into education. Thank you to your parents, thank you to your family, and thank you to everyone who has been instrumental in helping you grow to a beautiful young man who today is back to the roots and living with the culture and the people to where he belongs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.